Have they lost at home?
And if they do, it'll be the ultimate choke job. I'll double check that. Let me go. I have to go to the MLS site, MLS website. Check that. I don't want MLS listings.
Tokyo's on here.
You on?
He's on mute, but he's on.
Oh, he'll slide in. Toke!
What up? What's going on?
What's up, Toke? Check out Trip and Toke on YouTube. What's up, Toke?
Not a whole lot, man. So, I heard I got called out.
Glad we could get you on the show, bro. But you were saying Peter Vermees is MLS 1.0. I think that I almost would rather have him than Ezra, whatever Ezra is, whatever .0 Ezra is.
You can't. This team isn't built, dude. It's just slapped together. It's been the Fire way for what, 10 years, or since 2010. Just like, I mean, even like the Brian McBride thing, it worked out, but it was just like, holy crap, a name, get him. You know what I mean?
Basically like duct tape on a plane.
Yeah, with no thought to how you put the team together whatsoever. So it's just, I don't know, man. I feel like Ezra could be a good coach. You need to take your lumps. You need to build something, but the fact is we've tried to build something every 2.5 years for the last 10, 15, so nobody's got any patience for it.
That's the thing, though. I thought Ezra could potentially be a good coach, especially if he's been an assistant for some good coaches, throughout MLS. But the problem is that he never changes his formations. He never changes his tactics.
Well, but to what? What do you have on this team to change to, really? Like, at this point, he's just literally, like, shuffling the team out until he can get to a transfer window with somebody, like, competent.
But the problem is that,
maybe Herbers would be a guy. If you, there's guys that he
didn't
be
he
able
just
to
have
pivot
surgery?
to. He did, but there were guys on this team that he was able to pivot to. Albeit the team wasn't built right. We were missing some veterans in key positions. DPG and I definitely talked about that.
And the thing about it is that if what you're asking for is for the only way that works is if you have a head coach that has a really close working relationship with the GM, or in some cases the head coach is in charge of also being a GM.
I mean, it's tough though. Vermees wants that power, but like, even look at what happened to Arena this year. It's just like. Arena's a different story, but
I'll
like,
take
it is
Arena here though. Like, these guys are all proven MLS coaches where they can have a down year and it's okay because we know that they can get back to success. I just don't know if we can get back to success with Ezra at all.
I don't know. I don't think that this year was a good sample size, really. I think you got to give Ezra another rip.
And that's the toughest thing about a guy in his first year of coaching. Right.
But the thing is, like, I would probably be on board with that if Ezra would start changing up his formations, changing up the way he plays, experimenting. Hey, it's your first year. You can get away with messing up 1 year. So why not experiment? Try different formations, try different tactics, try different, attacking methods, defensive methods, whatever. But
well, here's the true test of who needs to go. Whose idea is it for Slonina to keep playing? You got to play Brady. You have to.
You have to, yeah. You
have to, because and they're talking about whoever's talking about bringing Slonina back for another 6-month loan.
That's a mistake. Yeah.
Well, that's going to ruin his career.
Yep.
B, that's going to that's setting us back. We're still not going to have a keeper, which we haven't had since Sean Johnson left.
Exactly, and you know what? Brady, he had a good, qualifying for the Olympic tournament. He didn't even get scored on. He might be ready. I think, and you're right. If we don't see him on the lineup for the next few games, and that should tell you that, hey, maybe Ezra's not the guy to develop young players.
Well, but is it him or is it Heights?
Because, I mean, Guti brought along, but then now at the critical point where he should be playing Guti more, he is. He did play Guti the last 2 games. So I feel like he is bringing along the youth in some ways.
But not as, people were arguing, well, how come John Duran didn't start sooner? Why were we still with the
good point.
Books? I mean, why were we?
Because these guys thought Shabilko is a big signing.
They thought
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that. until someone actually brought up the stats, and at that point, it got everybody thinking that, okay, well, what the hell we just did? What did we just do right now?
Well, look
But
how much better Philadelphia got without him.
This sounds like a Georg Heights problem. We keep pointing the finger indirectly and directly at Georg Heights, and that also points it at Joe Mansueto for sticking with Georg Heights. And as much as we pick on Ezra, he's more of a symptom than the symptom of the problem than the problem, the virus.
But the thing is, you have to keep in mind this: if they do, let's say they fire Heights and they bring in a new GM, it's up to that GM whether or not he's going to keep Ezra or not. He might have his own guy, saying, "Hey, you know what? I want you on board."
And the thing is, as you said too, and I agree with this, Ezra is very replaceable. He's done nothing that screams, "Oh, we got to keep this guy around." If they do go a new direction with GM,
and not only that, but if you remember that loss against Columbus, at home where we again gave up the lead. He talked about, he started preaching about, oh yeah, it's not going to happen again. We're going to learn from this. We're going to be a better team. And guess what? It happened again. And then on top of that, someone else brought up stats on Twitter saying it just didn't happen twice. The Fire have given up the lead so many times, like 5 times this season.
Well, that wasn't the wake-up call that everybody wanted to be. It was really more of the go-to-sleep ring. Go-to-sleep bell.
Well, I mean, that might just be the guys. Shaqiri's never been, let me put the team on my shoulder guy.
No.
And we're asking him to be. We're not putting people in positions to succeed.
Yeah, no, you're right. He's one of those off players that he might thrive under a team that has other good players. But you're right.
Exactly.
He's not the type of guy that you'll say, hey, this is your team now. Take charge of it.
But he's also not a Chicharito, where Chicharito is so hyper dependent upon the service. Chicharito is dependent on service from other players. When Chicharito gets good service from Mueller, it leads to good things. When he gets good service from Federico, from Gaston, from whoever was playing midfield that day, it leads to good things. But he also, there's times where they get him the ball and his consistency is just not there. Like, he gives the ball away and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? You're supposed to be our best player. We get the ball to you. And then that's where the breakdown starts. And I've seen that happen a lot this season.
Yeah, it's more or less pass him the ball. He tries to dribble past 2-3 guys and they double team him and that's it. They dispossess him and it's, oh my God, it's counterattack time. And that's been the story.
I've got to ask a really dumb question about Major League Soccer. The coaches are not. There is no salary cap on coaches, correct?
No salary cap on coaches.
No salary cap. Nope.
So why would you not just? I thought this when Mourinho was out of work, right before the Roma thing. Why not take a giant stab? Why not say, if you're a billionaire owner, give the coach 6 times as much as you pay your best player in this league. You know what I mean?
That Spanish coach that the USA thought about hiring, Lola Gupti, right? Or something like that. Like, that would be a great guy. Yeah, maybe.
But here's the thing. I want to say this. Yes, why not give a stab to Mourinho? The problem is, and we've seen this a couple of times in MLS, is that whenever you bring in these European coaches, especially the ones that have coached big teams, I'm thinking of what's Koeman, the guy that took over Atlanta, and he got fired because it didn't work out for him. That's the problem.
These are guys that it doesn't work out anywhere for. I'm talking like a Simeone type, right? Like somebody who you still have to have the GM though, who understands the rules of Major League Soccer. But even bad example, good example, but a Pep. If you could tell this guy, we just need your tactical brain and sit back and our guy will find you the pieces. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know, man. I know that's not logical, right? But a guy in, you know what I mean? A guy who's a more tactical focused guy, what's the cat from the Red Bull system that got fired from, or no, the cat. that coached United last season, like the caretaker at the end.
I combined two
Where's
players
he
there,
at?
CJ and Jesse Marsh.
No, I know what you're talking about. I forgot his name. The guy
It's
that had Chris Armas on it as a staffer.
Is it Warnick or
Warnock?
Yeah.
What is
There you
it?
go.
Yeah. Warnock
You know,
sounds
like
right.
what is he doing right now?
Nobody knows. I to be honest with you, I'm not sure.
Just back the Brinks truck up and pick him up, man.
Act saying that you could have the greatest coach, but that won't win you anything. You need the players to win. High quality managers are paid to manage high quality talent, not develop it.
And here's the thing too.
And what are the Fire? Are the Fire a developing station or are they a talent station? Like every team in MLS is different. And look, you look at Dallas, they're a developing station. You look at Red Bull, they're a developing station. You look at Seattle, they're a powerhouse.
But the thing is, think about this for a sec. You know, what you're basically, going back to the coach stuff, is that you're basically asking a European coach to give up working in Europe, give up working with high caliber players,
high caliber coaches,
go to a league that has a salary cap that probably won't pay the wage for Cristiano Ronaldo, and a very structured system versus having free spending European clubs buy whoever they want.
The limitations are a little too obstructive. Yeah, they kind of make you not want to go there. By the way, I know we were shouting out Jose Mourinho coming up. Like, why not Piotr Nowak, who beat Jose Mourinho? No, I'm just kidding. But Piotr Nowak, when you guys talk about MLS 1.0 soccer, it made me think about Piotr Nowak, who's won way back when, and he went over to Bialystok and didn't have too much success over there. It was a little difficult, and it made me wonder if soccer is changing and we have to get into the Jesse Marsh camp of soccer.
You know what, Jesse Marsh, that's a story on itself, because that guy didn't have a whole lot of success in Montreal and he got fired for it. But then he goes to New York and holy crap.
Well, that's the key. He had a system of people, like New York with being Red Bull. They have so much in the way of like the GM position, right? Like just the front office, that he can be a tactician and they can give him pieces that will fit at whatever level the team that they're searching for.
It did seem like that. Like Red Bull's GM did seem to be able to give the Red Bulls coaches the right pieces they needed, typically.
And that's what we go back to, is you need a GM that has a close working relationship with the head coach. The guy that's going to sit down and be like, let's talk about what you want to play and let's talk about what you need.
What's also interesting about the Red Bull system is that the Red Bull system has made both GMs, players, and coaches all cogs, replaceable cogs in the wheel, in the machine. They've literally had wholesale changes, yet they still kind of play Red Bull football. There's a Red Bull identity there from the top down, despite the monumental changes. We haven't had that with Chicago Fire.
I think Red Bull has a whole entire system where I think they might even, I don't know if I saw this before, but I could have sworn that they were taking like Jesse Marsh, when he used to coach the Red Bulls, and take him over to Austria or Germany and have him tour their facilities. Maybe, give him a couple of training courses. Work closely.
Oh yeah, they did that all the time. Remember, he would go over on off season to go basically be an assistant at Leipzig. So with the cat that was coaching the Austrian Salzburg at the time, who's now what? Isn't he Munich's coach? Because didn't he move up to Leipzig and then go over to Munich, and then the cat from Leipzig went to United or whatever?
I think.
And that, so I don't know. I like that. How do you, I got a question though. How do you guys think about Chris Armas? Because I listened to that Cracked podcast that Beasley and Onyewu do, and they were talking to him about a month or so ago, and it just sounded like this dude literally already knew he had a job in Major League Soccer next season.
Do you think that's Chicago Fire?
It very well could be.
I mean, unless they were talking to a GM, halfway throughout the season and not mention anything to anybody, and he might have, the GM might have said, "I got Chris Armas that I want to bring along with." That's a
Well, he said
possibility.
he's been talking to MLS teams, and he sounded like a cat who just knew he already had a job.
And didn't Chris Armas really, really fail at Toronto?
Oh yeah,
He did, but then again, look who's failing in Toronto right now.
Bob Bradley.
Yeah. So it's
That's
at
a
that
good point because Bob Bradley, you'd think like could go anywhere in MLS and have success, but it's not proving to be the case.
Well, but is that going to happen for long? Like, what are they going to look like next season?
Depends if they have Bob Bradley still, and they still have Michael Bradley playing. They're probably going to be a lot more of the same. Toronto is in a weird situation where they do have players, but these are aging stars, and they're holding on. And at the same time, they have high expectations on their youth players to kind of pick up the slack, which is not working.
I mean, I think they were a victim of circumstance because now they got the 3 Italians who are all under 32 years old. So you get another 2 to 4 years out of them.
Yeah.
And then you got Mark Anthony Kaye, who just went over there and has just come back from injury. That kid's a stud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think Toronto's going to be down for long.
The problem is that a lot of their success is kind of linchpinned upon Michael Bradley, and he's just not LeBron James. He's old, but he's not the superstar that LeBron James is that can carry that team anymore. And he's a linchpin for their success. So it's like how Michael Bradley goes, that team has went. And Michael Bradley has sucked this year, so that team also sucked.
That's gonna go through next year? I doubt.
And his dad's still the coach. That creates the problem. If his dad wasn't the coach, or he wasn't on the team, and his dad was able to coach the team without Michael Bradley there, I see Toronto being an instant winner.
Well, let me say this. Didn't when Toronto was like going back and forth with MLS Cups, didn't they used to have like this a different GM that ended up going to Columbus and brought success to Columbus? I forgot the guy's name. It's like a long last name, but he was actually he was wheeling and dealing and really, really bending the rules in the league to get players in.
That's the only way you succeed now. Like, come on, Gareth Bale's not even a DP, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, you have to bend, and like the rules are stupid to begin with. This salary cap thing either needs to be quadrupled or just gotten rid of.
Tim Bezbachenko.
Yep, there you go.
That's who it is.
He was their GM for a couple of years during their height of their success, and then he ended up leaving to Columbus, and then Columbus had a whole resurgence thing going on.
And he is their current GM and sporting director.
Yeah.
He brought in Caleb Porter. That was his move.
So think about that. It's like this guy, not a lot of people know about him, but man, he's built some pretty decent teams throughout the past couple of years.
Would you say he's the Ezra Hendrickson of GMs?
Hell no.
Because he is like
I love it.
I wouldn't say he's the Ezra. I'd say he's more of a what's a good GM? What's a good GM? He might be
Lagerway,
Lagerway. There you go.
Lagerway, Thorrington, Bocanegra to a degree, who's struggling right now.
I can't believe John Thorrington. That son of a he walks up, he misses a penalty the last time I was happy as a Fire fan. And then now he's just like, oh yeah, I live in LA and everything's awesome now. What a freaking jerk.
What a dick.
Well, you gotta keep in mind, LAFC has a good setup, all the way around. Atlanta is kind of going through like a coaching crisis. I think they're about to fire their current head coach.
They've been going through they're going through a everything crisis. Atlanta has just not been right.
Yeah, give the Fire Martinez now. I don't care how many tables he flips over.
Oh man, I don't know. I want to leave it up to the new GM what he's gonna do with Ezra, but that's if, and it kind of I get this bad feeling in my stomach that we're still gonna have heights next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the writing is on the wall. It's more of the same next year, man.
And that's the thing, unless they do something weird where they ship him off to Lugano and he becomes like the Lugano guy or whatever, the European GM or whatever, then I don't see the Fire, being any good next year. I don't see it.
Yeah, man, a lot of optimism. The season's not even over. We're already depressed about next year.
No, dude, there's no hope, guys. There truly is no hope. I was trying not to be depressed about this, but there's no reason to be hopeful until we get some indication of change. We need to see that indication of change. They need to rip off the duct tape somewhere, take off a new piece, and put in something else. And that means Garrick Heights out.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that, I said this before. I think the best part of the season is the off season, because you could kind of see what's going in and out for the Fire.
It's time to be a Fire fan.
You get all hyped up. You go on Twitter every day, refreshing Twitter to see if there's any transfer moves or something going on, and that's that. Versus other fans that are like, yeah, we're in the middle of the playoffs.
Right now, Columbus fans are in a fervor. They're like, to fire Caleb Porter if he doesn't make the playoffs. They're in a fever pitch. But we're not in that. We're like,
wait, what's this playoff thing? Is that what happens after the regular season, that like they actually keep playing? I don't know what this playoff thing is.
Yeah. Put it like this. There's teams that, making the playoffs is not even a question. It's an expectation.
The other P word, parity, guys. Like, they always talk about parity in MLS. Where is this parity for the Fire?
And it's like, it's a failure if a team doesn't make it to the playoffs. And it's sad that as Fire fans, the biggest achievement is just making it to the playoffs, but then getting eliminated in the first round.
The biggest achievement for the Fire fans is signing Shaqiri and signing Schweinsteiger. That's our biggest achievements for Fire fans the past 7 years.
Isn't it funny that, like, the Fire have been terrible the entire time Seattle has been in the league, and this is the first time Seattle will have missed the playoffs?
Yep.
Wow.
And they're people freaking out. They're saying, get rid of Lagerway. They're even talking about getting rid of. They're talking about even getting rid of Schmetzer. So
that's gonna happen one day. It's gonna get stale. But boy, he's one of my. Schmetzer is just like such a good story in American soccer, man.
Can you give us the quick one too?
Yeah.
Well, because he coached the Sounders in USL, and then when they became the Seattle Sounders we know and love today, he was an assistant. And then when Ziggy got fired, they gave him the interim tag. And what was that, like 10 years ago at this point?
Oh, right. And they never lifted it, right?
And then he took off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great story, man.
It is legendary. That is cool.
Yeah. But
yeah,
see, that
think about that. You're the head coach of this team and he was the head coach like in the USL for at the very least 5 years, but I think it was like way longer. Like I've even forgot he played for them in the NASL or even like ASL or whatever, and then coached them for a great number of years. Then they go into MLS and Ziggy comes to town, and instead of firing him, they're like, hey, why don't we demote you to assistant coach? And he's like, all right. And he was interim. He won MLS Cup as interim, and he's been coach ever since.
You pointed something out. I'll say it after. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you know what? I hate Seattle Sounders. I hate their fans. But that story might have made me a fan of Schmetzer. Actually, I'll give it a Schmetzer.
I've been jealous of Seattle since day one. That's what I would love. Nothing more than to see here in Chicago. Because I mean, like, think about the guys they've churned through. Like they had Freddie Montero when he was good. Then what was that cat for Nkuku or whatever? And then it was Dempsey and Martins, and then just Dempsey and EJ. Like, they've had the Roldan brothers. Like, they've got Jordan Morris's square ass. Like, they have had so many interesting and fun players. Like Brad Evans, you know what I mean? Played there.
Yeah.
Like, I have been so jealous for so long. And then the best part is they sell us all their players like Patrick Guyani, Youngberg. Yeah, and then they're all terrible as soon as they get here. but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like EJ is an American soccer legend. They had Clint Dempsey, who's probably my favorite player to ever play. Like, I've been so jealous from Seattle from minute one, selling out their freaking NFL stadium. Like, it's just been disgusting to watch Seattle. Because even think about this, Seattle is the first wave of modern MLS. Seattle and Portland. This is the first wave of what we know as modern MLS. And instead of, like, if you look at the dichotomy with the Fire have almost done everything too early. They were awesome when it just didn't freaking matter. They had all these internationals when just like whatever. You know what I mean? We built a soccer-specific stadium, but like before teams were getting them in the city, it was out in the burbs. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just did everything too early, and just now we're just dinosaurs. We're literally not even dinosaurs. We're just fossils.
We are.
And
We're like we're the one-celled parameciums that preceded dinosaurs that still have yet to evolve.
You know, not only that, man, you actually just brought up a good point that I was thinking about when you mentioned that, is that the Fire were good when the rest of the league was dying.
Right? When the league wasn't even going to exist. It was like, oh, well, you know, we're good.
When they were talking about folding, like, you know, we might not make it next year type of thing. You know, then that all went away. We lost the golden age or golden era or whatever. Now we're stuck in this rut. And we keep running in circles to try to fix it.
You guys were talking also about coaches and Schmetzer, and I just want to bring it back to that just for a moment, because we've been hitting on what successful coaches are, and there's a humbleness to some of the best coaches that I realize. Like, look at Schmetzer, who was a coach, he was the head coach, and then kind of gets humbled and like gets the ability to stay on the same team, and he's like, that's a precarious position to be, because sometimes the people are like, no, we don't want your voice to interfere with this new voice, and you have to convince them that you won't interfere, that you'll support and you'll learn. And to be able to be that humble and able to also take that opportunity and learn is huge. And Schmetzer was able to do that. Look, Jesse Marsh able to do it. Bob Bradley under Bruce Arena able to do that.
Yep. And the thing about Schmetzer is that man is like living and breathing, walking Seattle Saunders.
Yeah, like, he's not going to get another job. The literal only other job he would ever do, which he's behind Jesse Marsh and maybe even a few others, would be the U.S. team. Because other than that, he's just going to, like, if he gets fired, guess what he's going to do? Go home and still live. He's going to live in Seattle and still come to the games on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Like, probably. You know, like, it's ridiculous, man. Like I said, I've been absolutely green with envy of every possible thing Seattle has done. Even their jerseys are fucking lit.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love
like
their colors too.
You know, like that Hendricks jersey they did. Come on, man. Like, can awesome, we get some of that? Any of it? Dog.
You know, to this day, I honestly believe that I think my all-time favorite game for the Fire has to be like that 4-1 beating we gave Seattle back in 2017. You know, that I actually have a poster hanging up on the wall.
I remember missing that game. Me and my brother were on a fishing trip. I just remember missing that game and how good that game is. We watched that game after the fact.
You know, 2017, we look back with rose-colored glasses because it started well, but then you saw the cracks early. Like, Arturo Alvarez was not an MLS starter at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you saw the cracks early, and then it just fell apart at the end. You know, like, it just wasn't as good as we remember. You know, like, even same thing with 2010, or even, what was that year we got beat on Halloween? Like, to death. You know, like,
you're speaking the truth. A lot of it isn't as good as remember. The best times that were as good as remember, 98, 97, 98.
Yeah, pretty much.
01, 02.
I mean, 08, 09. 08, 09 were both good years, man. Like I said, John Thornton, I was so happy to be a Fire fan until John Thornton took a penalty. Because that's the year Salt Lake beat us, and they went on to the finals and won.
Yeah. I barely became a Fire fan in 2010, so I missed all that good era. And I think,
oh God!
I think who was?
Are you just a masochist or what?
You know what? I don't know what hit me. I think I went to one Fire game in 2010 and I got hooked. And ironically, it was the game that they won too. So, I think I remember telling this to somebody. I don't know if you guys know this guy, Patrick Stanton.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I remember telling this to Patrick, and I'm like, I signed up for season tickets, and I've been a season ticket holder since 2011. He's like, oh my God, you missed all the best parts, man. Man, wow. Like, he was stunned. Like, oh man.
Yeah, you pretty much did miss everything, man.
But
like a whole team of Kalen cars. Remember?
There's the best is yet to come. We gotta believe that the best is yet to come. It's just not coming anytime soon. Not this year or not next year, and I don't know if the next 2 years, barring some significant change coming right now, the end of this season.
Yeah. Well, they bought in, man, because being a Cubs fan, like, now I don't even watch baseball. We won. It's over. Why even do that anymore?
Oh my God! Yeah, it's like you won. Oh, so it's why even watch? Huh. I mean, with the Blackhawks, we had a good run with the Blackhawks too.
Oh, there's a nice video on YouTube that talks about the rise and collapse of the Blackhawks.
I'll have to check that out. Oh, I'll definitely check that. Thanks for the rec.
I'll post it on the Discord.
I'm a hockey player, so that is definitely my jam.
But the thing is that
I can't pin you, bro. A hockey playing Southsider, Sox fan, Fire fan. It's hard to pin you down, bro.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He's a betting man,
Oh, he's a degenerate. We all know this.
But here's the thing, though, is that it's sad when your fan base knows what you're doing wrong, but you still go ahead and still do it anyway. People. I remember after that Charlotte game, people were bringing up their old tweets like, "We told you guys to sign Carl Strudisky. What the hell happened?" People were bringing tweets in 2021 and.
You can't listen to people, or else Heath Ledger would have never been the Joker.
That's true. But
well, the White Sox, we're talking about it today. The White Sox fans are talking about like how a lot of the problems that the White Sox experienced this year, the media and the fans were saying out loud, audibly, were the problem, and that the team itself just never addressed. The Fire are similar vein. Like, we have Brian Sandolau literally shouting from the treetops.
Like, Fire hides already.
He's trying to be objective, but it is hard when this is the crap that you're given.
And I think he even stated, like, look, I don't call for anybody's firing, but hey, he needs to get fired.
Yeah, make a change, man.
And that's the thing, is that it's still scary that he's still making decisions on player contracts, which kind of gets me thinking, like, oh my God, is this guy really still gonna be here next year?
Yeah, those two. Well, I'm unfortunately, like, if I were a betting man, I'd bet on him being here, despite not wanting him here.
Me too.
But I'll say this though, those two renewals were dummy renewals, dude. Those are good, solid MLS pieces that are developing. Like, keep it. You know what I mean? Those were dummy renewals. Anybody would have done that. Those are pieces of the team.
Basically, easy slam dunks. I think you're right. And the fact that Prishabilko is supposedly, as pointed out in that article, they said Prishabilko was supposed to get a new contract. If he gets a new contract, holy shit. If he doesn't and something changed, something had to change.
There's no way. I don't know. I'd like to believe. I really need to know, like, in 5 to 10 years, like, what kind of criminality thing happened to where the gun was put to somebody's head and Gaston Jimenez was re-signed.
Oh my God!
I don't know what happened, but we're gonna find out. It involved a truckload of blow or something, dude, because that made literally no human logical sense in this realm of existence.
We were literally calling, like, okay, he's gone. There's no way they're gonna resign him. That's an open DP slot. We were calling that already.
Open shut case.
Yeah, we was counting that money. We were shopping.
And Stupid High said, "Oh my God, let's just resign him. We're gonna sell him back." Yeah.
Why?
We don't.
Why?
Like I said, it made such little sense that there must be like a half-hour documentary coming in the future.
Yep. Yeah, whenever the Fire win the MLS Cup, they're gonna talk briefly about this period. But
right.
well, the thing is that, you know, I'm still like mind blown that the fact that they re-signed Jimenez, because that whole him re-signing him is literally gonna mess us up for next year.
It's done.
That's
yeah.
And then the thing about that is that Pineda and Navarro in the midfield do just as good a job as when Jimenez plays.
Hold on.
Get another season together. Yeah.
Really stupid question. When you make a transfer or when you sell a player and you make a nice big profit like Almiron, right? MLS will let you have a portion of that.
Yes,
and I believe that it does go towards the cap, correct?
Yep. Oh, it goes in TAM or GAM or some BS like that.
Okay. So, do you get penalized for making a loss? Like, can we like cheat taxes here? Like, can we sell Jimenez for like $600K to a team in Mexico and just be like, "Whoops, we made no profit."
No, you can definitely sell him for no profit. Yeah. You could we just get no GAM TAM as a reward.
Right, but you don't get penalized GAM and TAM though.
No, you're not gonna get penalized. No. You take whatever you're given. And the thing about it is that someone was talking about doing this to Shaqiri, like, hey, look, if he wants to go to Europe, just send him to Europe, take a loss, and move on.
They're gonna sell Shaqiri for $5 million to somebody. Somebody's gonna come in for $5 million for Shaqiri.
No way.
At the end of the World Cup, he's not coming back to Chicago.
Oh, never. He'll never play. I don't even think he'll play for Chicago after this international break. Like,
you don't think he's coming back? Wow.
He's not coming. I think he packed up already.
Yeah, I think he's. I bet if you went by his team provided rental,
his apartment,
he would be moved out, and there would already be IKEA furniture for staging.
His one season MLS done? You're saying?
I think so, man. I don't logically see it unless because they're all road game. Or no, there's one more at SeatGeek. Okay, so maybe he'll play that game.
I don't see it either. And Soldier Field grass sucks.
The new grass I heard is pretty good.
Ooh.
But here's the thing.
The Bermuda grass.
Oh, did you see how happy that guy was when he got to Switzerland with the Swiss national team?
Oh my gosh.
He's like here with the boys and carrying his luggage, his own luggage too. All happy.
Carrying the luggage.
No.
Lou was limping off the field like, oh, my leg,
Like
89 minutes. Oh, I got a cramp. I got to get out, coach. I got to get out.
And listen, I don't even blame him for that, man. If you're like, this has to be a mutually, player and fans and coach all need to be a mutual relationship.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? And if like he doesn't want to play here, then don't, man. Then make a scene. If it's really that bad and it sucks, then then just go have fun, man. I know Switzerland. You're not going to get shot. All sorts of good things about Switzerland.
But here's the thing: it cracks me up, man. It cracks me up because I think about, man. I don't know why I think about this, but back in 2017, we had a guy named Michael Harrington on the team. You guys probably know who he is.
Oh my God, I loved Michael Harrington. He's got a ride or die chick.
This man was not the best player. Like he was hot garbage.
Right.
But
he was not good anymore.
He wasn't good anymore. But the man, I remember a game versus New York City FC. He got hurt. Like he needed to come off. The problem was that the Fire were out of subs. So the man literally hobbled for like 20 minutes trying to play as best as he can. And then I look at Shaqiri. It's the 89th minute. The game's about to end in 5 minutes. And you're here talking about, there might be a little tightness going on. I got to get out of here.
Dude, he was thinking about a Chicago-style hot dog, to be honest. That's what he was thinking about. You seen how fat he is.
With Shaqiri, here's the thing. Shaqiri can bomb one more place after the Fire before he's at the Last Chance Saloon.
Yes.
Michael Harrington needed to continue to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shaqiri's got a few more strikeouts before he's, you know what I'm saying?
He's got one more or two more in Europe for sure.
Don't be surprised if they sell him off to Lugano for like $5 million, like you mentioned. Because either way, at the end of the day, it's just
Lugano, Switzerland.
It's all the same money.
Whoa, you know what? That might have been part of, think about this. That might have been part of the pitch. It's like, hey, if it doesn't work out for you the first season, hey, we could always send you back to Lugano in Switzerland. And it's like, Switzerland home? Maybe.
He'll play in Turkey or China or somewhere, or
We're
well,
trying
not
to get
China
for the
anymore, but
big money.
yeah,
big
he'll
money
get
contract.
another
Lots of money in Switzerland,
another paycheck. I don't know. Is there?
It's not that Saudi money though. It's not that oil money.
Yeah, right. It's not. You're right. Like somebody, Turkey, the Saudis, Sheriff, somebody's gonna pay him one more time before he needs to even prove himself to be a rotation player.
That's true. And you know what? He's going to have great stats on that Wikipedia page for Chicago Fire. 15, 20 games played, 7 goals, 11 assists. Actually pretty good stats.
You know, well, he wasn't bad. That's the thing. He's given up on the team because there was no team for him to be a part of.
Doesn't
there
that
was
feel
just
weird?
nothing.
It feels so weird after Bastian Schweinsteiger, where he's playing with, to me, way worse players. Bastian Schweinsteiger had a way worse team around him than Shaqiri did.
You're cutting off really bad, Jamie.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Schweinsteiger, can you hear me right now?
It's cutting off a little bit. It's a little
fuck. Okay,
scratchy.
I'll try. Crackly.
Go ahead. I'll try to fix something.
Okay. So,
but Schweinsteiger, I don't know, man. I guess I just still have such a bad taste in my mouth for all things German soccer since history's greatest monster, Torsten Frings. I don't know, man. I just didn't love that 17 team. There was not a lot of players on that team to really endure yourself to.
Checking.
Corporate.
Oh wow.
Product. Yeah. Like he knows how to smile. You know what I mean?
The thing about Schweinsteiger was that the guy knew he was ready at his twilight of his career. He was done after his fire. So he made the best of it. He was retired from the German national team. I'll just play for these guys.
I would love to see a guy like that come to MLS and not just be like, yeah, well, we're going to build something here. No, I win trophies in my career, and I'm unfortunately not good enough for the top 5 leagues currently, so I want to come here and win every goddamn trophy I can. None of these guys say it. They're just all, a lot of them are on vacation. Now you do get some who really bust their tail. It's kind of a shame. Look at all the hard work Henry put in to be elite at a time where, the salary cap was probably less than his salary.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Robbie Keane in LA.
Exactly. I mean, but they won trophies. They, excuse me. Anyway.
Hello.
Rooney was okay for one season in DC.
Yeah, he was, but he was already done. Yeah, unfortunately. Look, he just slid right into coaching, And I like that experiment too, man. Give Wayne Rooney a minute or two to have a couple years at DC.
Yeah. I might be crackly still, guys. Am I?
It's all good, man. Hold on. I'm just gonna say this. Thank you, James, for allowing me to be on. I'm gonna have to run out.
Thank you
guys for such a good conversation. Can I?
Thanks, Theo.
Hey, can I plug something real quick?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Trip and Toke on YouTube. It's like a mix between a Let's Play and a podcast. We did something fun just recently where, the two of us are very different people. And so he gave me a playlist of his top 5 kind of current hip hop songs to listen to and to analyze. And I made him have to sit through 5 songs of deathcore music. So we got 2 really fun episodes out of that. So
sick.
Come check it out.
Check out Trip and Toke's channel. I'll put the link in the description.
All right. Thank you, James. You have a good one, my man.
All right, Toke. Talk to you later. That's FC News.